death threats. It was a life of barricaded doors and ever-drawn window blinds and safety drills for the children.
He taught them how to fall to the floor with the sound of gunfire and crawl to the bathroom, the bathtub, and always take care of their little brother.
Despite the dangers in early 1963, Evers began an active campaign to force the issue of racial inequality in Jackson, Mississippi. He organized demonstrations, went head-to-head with the mayor and the city's business leaders.
We were determined under MEDGAR's leadership to forge ahead, to crack the system. And they were determined to wipe him out because he was a leader.
On May 28, 1963, the NAACP began sit-ins at Woolworth's, where blacks were not served at the lunch counter. That night, someone threw a Molotov cocktail at Evers' home. Damage was minimal, but the message was clear.
The threats, the danger, made life so precious to us. Very seldom did we ever part without saying, "I love you," and certainly without embracing each other.
Prophetically, at an NAACP gathering in Jackson on June 7th, Evers told the crowd, "I love my children and I love my wife, and I would die and die gladly if that would make a better life for them."
We knew. We held each other tightly a couple of nights before he was killed. And we both cried together. And he said, "It's not going to be long." I said to him, "I know."
On the night of June 12th, here in what was then the NAACP office, Evers watched with other movement leaders as President John F. Kennedy delivered an impassioned speech on civil rights.
We face, therefore, a moral crisis as a country and a people. We have a right to expect that the Negro community will be responsible, will uphold the law, but they have a right to expect that the law will be fair, that the Constitution will be colorblind.
MEDGAR was thrilled with the speech and then met with his NAACP colleagues late into the evening. When their meeting was over, he drove home. In a nearby vacant wooded lot, a sniper crouched behind some honeysuckle. MEDGAR's car turned into his driveway. As MEDGAR stepped out of his car, he slammed the door shut.
We had made a pact that whichever one of us were driving, we would never get out on the driver's side because the driver's side faced this vacant lot, and we knew that it was a wonderful place for an assassin to hide. That night he was so tired until he got out on the driver's side.
Evers was shot in the back and fell to the ground. MEDGAR and Murley's worst fears had come true.
I ran to the front door and saw him lying there and screamed. It was only then that the children left that area and came out to join me and asked their father, "Please get up, Daddy, get up, Daddy."
No longer a father, a husband, an activist, MEDGAR Evers was now a part of history. Unlike the murders of so many before him, his death was not considered a lynching, but an assassination.
It was a real sign of changes to come that his body came all the way to Washington and his widow and little children went to the White House, and that he was buried in Arlington Cemetery and accepted as somebody, as a martyr.
He must be looked upon as one who helped liberate and free the state of Mississippi, the South, and the nation. You know, he had many opportunities to leave, to do something else, but he decided to stay. And he paid a heavy price. He gave his life.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And of course, you're listening to The State of the City. That was a excerpt of a documentary on MEDGAR Evers. Thought we'd take time out of our show and again talk about MEDGAR Evers, because again, as you heard in that documentary by his wife, Mama Merle Evers Williams, and of course others, talking about his legacy, but also, again, the brutality of this country in terms of the assassinations of our leaders, but not just of the leaders, but also of those who were just ordinary people that participated in the civil rights movement as well, that oftentimes is not talked about. So if not us, then who? Because this is our story, and as you know his story, we should know our story. And as I have said over the past couple of shows, I'm sure many of you and plenty of you will talk about and tweet about the big game. The big game in terms of the NBA Finals. But will you tweet about the legacy of Medgar Evers and his legacy and how he made it possible so that you would be able to have black players playing in the NBA, or black players playing in Major League Baseball today, or black players playing in any of these professional sports today? We have to remember the shoulders who we stand on, or whom shoulders we stand on as well. So again, take time on this day to learn more about Medgar Evers. Teach your children about Medgar Evers, and teach them of the children who worked with Medgar Evers and the women that work with Medgar Evers as well during this day, June the 12th, again, 2013, as we stop and remember Medgar Evers on June the 12th of 1963. And with that, let me take this opportunity now to welcome a brother who is continuing in the works of great men, such as Medgar Evers. He, of course, is one of our brothers that comes out of the Christian faith, working hard in the church, of course, but he also has taught our young people in terms of their talents and their gifts through the work that he does in terms of his music and his music ministry. And it's so interesting that we're stopping to celebrate and commemorate again Black Music Month, and also his organization, the American African Committee. So let me take this opportunity to introduce to some, reintroduce to others, and welcome back to the State of the City, my brother and friend, Brother Jimothy Rogers. Peace, brother. Peace and blessings to you and everyone listening today. Pleasure to be on. Yes, sir. Pleasure to have you, brother. Before we get started, give out your contact information where you can be reached. My cell phone, of course, I can be reached directly for those who are wanting to find out more information about the American African Committee. Just call me 443-623-4005 directly. There's an email address set up. The New African or New American African at gmail.com. So that's just NEW American African at gmail.com. I'm asking for if you see anything or if you have any information about issues or just want to ask questions, feel free to send your thoughts and comments there. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about what's going on, man. Today, of course, as you heard me coming in talking about just commemorating Medgar Evers, talk about the importance, I think, of taking that opportunity and stopping to just have an attitude of gratitude to say thank you for those who paved the way, for those of us of this generation that have benefited from their lives, whether it's in the physical giving up of their lives or in terms of the giving up of their life through their sacrifice and their hard work and labor, brother. Mm-hmm. One thing that I remember and have lived through myself is the idea of blood, sweat, and tears. Yes. And having to take the time to sit back and recognize that there was much blood, sweat, and tears that went into us being able to have the opportunity to share this information today. That's right. And so that's why it's just so important not to lose sight of that. Yes. Because as you said, the games and competition events and all of that are exciting for those who watch them. And, of course, our athletes are, very much athletic, but at the same time, being able to notice and find out how they were able to get to this place, what was able, to be sacrificed, what had to be sacrificed in order for us to get to that point. Our history is what will take us forward. Yes, sir. That's right. We always say today's built on yesterday and tomorrow's built on today, brother. That's right. So that's very key. Go ahead. Oh, and if we do not have, that the knowledge of the past, the knowledge of our history, and those like Medgar Evers and his works, then we might be misled or deceived into a future that is not of our own. Yes, sir. So. That's important. Again, family, just tuning in, having a conversation with Brother Jimothy Rogers. Well, speaking of history, last time we had you on, brother, we were talking about these drills that were going on in Baltimore. So let's get into that because today is the official last day of school in Baltimore City Public Schools. Mm-hmm. And so here we are now. Summer months are approaching, and we're in June the 12th.
And I remember so eloquently the words of Dr. King talking about the white liberals and the government that always want to talk about a long, hot summer and never really address the long, hot summer and the conditions and ingredients that exist that would make it a long, hot summer when they've had a long, cold winter to plan for our young people and our people in the city of Baltimore. And I haven't seen the city go out of their way to exhibit any types of opportunities that are available for our young people in the city of Baltimore. I saw recently in Howard County where they opened up not a dirt bike park, but they had an indoor kind of a mini Grand Prix park that they opened up in, again, Howard County. One, it brings jobs for young people. Two, it brings a place where young people can socially gather and go and have a good time and, of course, not be idle. But yet here in the city of Baltimore, we continue to tell our young people, you can come downtown to the harbor, as we saw with the mayor and the police commissioner last night, but you got to be on your best behavior. Now, you had some guys at the Oriole game just beat a guy and drop him 5 feet, but you don't see her going down in front of the Oriole game taking a microphone as they get ready to have opening. I think they're throwing the ball out at 12 o'clock or 12:30 as we're speaking. Now, you think she's not going to go down to the Oriole game and tell them people behave over the mic, over the PA system, but talk about the importance of getting ready to have preparation for our children for their summer activities, with this being the last day of school and now planning for the summer, but not having the ingredients, whether we're talking about summer jobs, knowing what services are for our young people in the city of Baltimore to prepare them for the summer, brother.
And that's a great point. We have to, first of all, the parents have to be aware of what is happening in our communities.
Yes, sir.
And we have to be aware of when, or where the priorities are being distributed. And in this case, myself, I was very interested in seeing about, the public safety initiatives. I was interested in, a recent resource fair that was held in my district. And, for these very reasons, we know that it's hot. We know that the resources, are not there, adequately to take care of, these heat situations, the lead situations, water, and, just what the kids need to be safe. And so as a resident, I went out and decided that I wanted to find out more information about what was happening in the resource fair and what opportunities and what policies, were put into place to help to deal with, that critical situation.
Right.
But then I, found out that the priority was put more on the incident action plan.
So more on suppression under the auspices of a drill, as you found out back in May. And, of course, they just had another training, I believe, June the 4th through June the 6th. So talk about that, brother.
And there was an after-action report, and, I was happy to have the opportunity, to go in and to listen to that. And, of course, one thing that the American African Committee is, looking to do more of, and we need your help, is to attend these meetings. Attend these meetings that are happening in your community. They're open to the public. Go in with a pencil, pen, and pad and take notes. And, let's share these, ideas online through emails and calls, etc. But what I was able to find was for those who had volunteered in the resource fair,
right,
the main question or the main concern to Connor Scott, who was the director of, the initiative.
Right, who works in the mayor's office.
That's right.
And this is obviously, maybe they got MEMA, the Maryland Emergency Management Agency. They have FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. So clearly within the mayor's office, they have BEMA, the Baltimore Emergency Management Agency, that was responsible for these drills. And to your knowledge, the public at large, because I haven't seen one mainstream news media from ABC, CBS, WBFF, or NBC report about this drill and these drills that are taking place in the inner cities of America, in particular the ones that have taken place, the two in Baltimore within the past 30 days. Is that correct?
That's correct. And if police and law enforcement or other types of federal agents were going to be coming door to door,
right,
to collect information about you and your home,
right,
you deserve to know about that.
Right. Now these aren't census workers. Let's make that clear. These aren't census workers because they took the census last year. Right? So these were law enforcement and the agencies. Now, what are some of the items? You got some items that they were actually given to the citizens in Baltimore City. Now, mind you, when Derico came through, and they talking about we might have another Derico today, we couldn't get bottled water, we couldn't get flashlights, we couldn't get batteries, we couldn't get even generators so that we can get electricity. But they were